Hello, welcome to another Gospel Project video. This week our Gospel Project story is on the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. So we are nearing the end of the large chunk of Jesus' ministry, and we are getting really close to his trial and his crucifixion and his resurrection, very much getting to the end of our time in the Gospel Project, specifically studying the life and ministry of Jesus. But the triumphal entry is really interesting because it's this moment where you have Jesus in the last week of his life entering Jerusalem, entering the place where he is going to be eventually crucified. And he knows that this is coming. He has multiple times told the disciples, like, hey, we're heading towards Jerusalem. They're going to kill me. And a lot of times the disciples aren't cluing into all that or aren't picking all that up. But so he's entering Jerusalem, and it's this, if you remember back to your Sunday school days, it's this beautiful picture of people are bowing down, they're laying down palm branches. He's riding on a donkey into the city, and everybody's just like excited and happy that he's there, and saying things like, you know, blessed is the king who's coming into Jerusalem, kind of when it appears that the crowd is like, hey, this is the Messiah coming in. Now, what's really interesting is what most people were expecting of the Messiah was a conquering king. So they were expecting, Israel was expecting its Messiah to come in, kick the Romans out, be this great military leader. And when you think about that, even from like our own exposure to popular media, you think of a guy in war armor with a sword on a big horse riding into town. And instead you have Jesus seated on a donkey, sitting on some blankets on the donkey to be comfortable, as people are laying down palm branches in the street as he's coming in. Jesus was always really clear, like, I'm not here to be the Messiah the way you think I am. I'm doing this the way God has always intended it to be, not the way humans have misconstrued it or what humans think would be the most helpful. Because what Jesus knows is what Israel needed at the time, what we need, was not for him to come in and be the conquering king of human powers. We needed a servant, a humble leader to come in and fix the ultimate problem that we all have, which is our sin issue. Now, what I always find troubling, I guess, about this story is we believe this happened on the Sunday before the crucifixion. And what it seems like the crowd of people around are at least very excited that Jesus is there, are very excited that he has entered Jerusalem, and how quickly many of those same people were probably in the crowd in front of Pontius Pilate saying, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. And one of the things I point out to students, and it's probably a good thing to point out to your kids, especially as they start to get older, is how quickly how quickly it is to push Jesus away when he's not convenient. It was convenient when he was rolling into town, and it's like, oh yeah, we're excited. But then at that trial, where it's kind of like, we're close to rioting here, Rome may take away our power, Rome may take away all the freedom they've kind of given us. Oh, Jesus is now inconvenient, let's push him to the side. It's like that's a troubling thing, though, that I think people need to be aware of, is like we still have this tendency. When Jesus is convenient to us, woo, yay, Jesus. When Jesus is inconvenient to us, we tend to try and tuck him away or hide him so that we don't have to deal with the inconvenient, hard things about Jesus and about following Jesus. So that's what that was what we were gonna focus on this week. That is the story. Again, it's probably a story you're pretty familiar with, and probably a story your kids are probably familiar with, because this is one we tend to hit, around, once a year, probably around Palm Sunday or somewhere thereabouts. But I would just encourage you to maybe read the story with your kids this week. Use some of our resources, the activity pages or the discussion questions, and feel free to kind of. I like to use this story as a pointing forward moment of like, hey, this is how the week started, and then this is how the week ended with the crucifixion and the resurrection. and talk about why it went that way. Our kids ask a lot of questions like, why did people not believe Jesus? Why did they end up killing Jesus? And I think this is a great story to lead into some of those harder conversations that may be confusing for younger kids. But the big idea we were going to work with this week was just the idea that the crowds in Jerusalem were welcoming of Jesus at the beginning of the week. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful to you. I hope our resources, the Gospel Project resources that we provide, are helpful and encouraging to your families as you're seeking to teach your kids the Bible. Again, I believe you can do this. I encourage you to do this. I know you can be successful at this, and we're trying. If there's any way we can be resourcing you more than just with the actual resources, please let us know. But until I see you again in the next video or in person, God bless.